when I do talk about leadership, it's just from the place of like those little things that I talked about, where like when somebody's quitting or something like that, right? Because I don't believe that I'm a great leader, right? I've never led a company with 10,000 employees, like so.
Do you think that great leaders are those who lead 10,000 people and more?
I think that
I believe that it doesn't have.
If you are a really great leader,
numbers
that can lead 10 people, you should be able to lead 10,000 people too. Yeah, if you can lead 10 people well, but if you can't lead 10,000 people, that means you're not really a great leader.
I'm not sure.
Oh, I'm 100% sure.
Purpose.
Because it spreads.
Finally, we disagree.
Because what happens, this is what I've seen, and 99% of these Fortune 500 companies, CEOs are not great leaders. I'll start with that first, right? But you're
talking about businesses, but I had
look at Nelson Mandela, like he can lead a whole country, right? So
yeah,
it's because what happens is when at the top, if you're a great leader, see, businesses are not like you can't measure great leadership from a business monetary success, because a lot of that has to do with capital and what happens in Wall Street and marketing and things like that too, right? Like short-term profits.
Totally agree.
Mm-hmm. But if you look at real great leaders, great leaders empowers other leaders, on like subordinate leaders, right? And then what happens is, through example, they like whatever happens at the top, it penetrates like down all the way to the. And if you're a great leader, your entire job is to make sure that every person in that organization leads.
Okay.
So
we were talking about it with C, and I was telling her that when you are a good leader, things can go well, or can work without you. When you're not present,
exactly.
You led well. Yeah.
But here's the problem in corporate environment is that the greatest leaders are the ones that are leading people, like is the one that are leading people to replace you, right? Like you have to work yourself out of your job, but that's counterproductive, right? Why would anybody want to somebody else to replace their job?
Same goes for teachers.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. So yeah, it's and it's because I think that's what it is, and it's maybe a lot of it is simple, right? Like a great leader is supposed to empower others, make sure there's great communication, so everybody understands what the high level goal is, so that even if you don't give them step-by-step instructions, they can figure out a way to achieve. They're on the same page to achieve the higher goal. And then there's probably like a lot of little things here and there, that nuances like we talked about, that needs to be done. But at the end of the day, very few people can do that, and probably because of our ego.
Or because they consider leadership as the giving instructions thing, or
like knowing the answer.
I will teach you. I will teach you the way, and show you the way to do it in easily, or without trying hard, or I will pull you through. But leadership is not like that. You have to motivate people. You have to help them find their core values and motivation.
And I think there are some people that is their strength, like Nelson Mandela, for example.
And be vulnerable as well.
Yeah.
You have to know when you have to say, I'm sorry, I was wrong.
Yeah.
Someone else has.
You don't always need the answer.
Or I'm tired. I got tired. I need help. If you otherwise you're not a leader. You're just imposing your authority.
Yeah.
If I'm saying that right.
See, the nuance is like, here's the nuance, right? Because a lot of people hear that from Brene Brown. Like, you have to be vulnerable. You have, if you don't know, just say you don't know, right? So some leaders go out there and go like, somebody's like, oh,
I don't know.
Yeah, so some leaders will go out there and employees will come to them and be like, oh, son, should we spend $10,000 on ads or should we spend $50,000 on ads? Oh, I don't know. Like, how much should we spend on? Oh, I don't know, right? Like,
but
the thing is,
right.
But the thing is, those people are turning to you to give them answer, right? And a great leader. And in that case, like, maybe the right thing to do is to say something like, okay, if we spend $50,000, they're gonna give us a 30% discount, right? But it's the leader's job to understand that, okay, I don't know the answer, so why don't we start with the 10,000 to see how it works out?
But I have to take to decide, to make the decision and take the responsibility, and that's because I'm the leader.
So it's not as simple as saying just I don't know, right? That's why you can't. That's why I don't like it when leadership coaches like try to simplify it, like, and that's why. And the reason why I'm not a big fan of, like, I keep saying this is, like, Brene Brown has never. She's an academic. She's a professor. She's a researcher. She's a PhD. She's smart. I'm not saying she's not smart, but it's very different to know everything about parenting and actually raising 3 kids, right? And once you've actually raised 3 kids, you start to understand all those little nuances, the framework of it, not just the step-by-step instructions. Do you know what I mean?
Tell me about it. About it. Yeah, I know what you mean.
And that's why, like, I think everything Brene Brown is teaching makes it look easy. But when you're actually leading an organization with 10,000 people, there's actually a lot more to it. And
you know what?
If you
keep going.
And if you wanted to really teach it right, like, you can't just like have few ideas about it and then, oh, here's the here's like how you should lead. Like, that's a cop out.
I'm just thinking that when you're a coach or a public speaker about your whatever you're doing, your audience is too big, so you have to generalize to be more generic, or to be not so specific, or
I talk about that
because you're trying to bring more people to you, or to make more people feel what you want them to feel. I'm always with the storytelling side. I'm on your side, but we don't we're not.
I'm not saying that she should be nuanced in her content. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
What I'm trying to say is this, right? I've read all the books. I've read all the Brene Brown books. I've read all the Simon Sinek books. I understand all of those concepts too. So I can talk about it, but I don't, right? And the reason why I don't is because, okay, here's a good example. I do talk about, like, design, marketing, copywriting, those kind of things, right? Or working with freelancers, those type of things. But I simplify and I generalize, right? I don't talk about all the nuanced details, right? But the reason why I still talk about it is because I do understand those nuances. So I do understand that when I say this, what am I risking, right? But the thing is, if you haven't actually done it yourself, imagine me talking about, like, storytelling, like content creation, and so, like, or marketing, or like personal branding or something like that. I have no experience in that. All I know is from the other books that I've read. I've never actually, you know what I mean? I've actually never built a personal brand before. I've actually never done marketing before. I've actually never done, never even done Instagram before. I've never worked with, I've never grown an agency before, but I read all the books. And then me trying
I'm
to
the
teach
same.
it is
I'm
not
thinking,
gonna.
yeah, it's the same way. I'm thinking the same way because in fact, I'm a newbie in content writing and in copywriting. I write since I was a kid. It's okay. But what have I done? I think I have told you. I started posting on Instagram just because I had my tutoring job. I mean, my students. I had the MA, the master in creative writing, which, by the way, hasn't finished yet. I'm about to write my thesis proposal, which is, hard. And I was thinking, I had one or two clients, write copy for that leaflet or give me copy for that profile on Facebook and blah, blah. And I saw I need marketing, so I had my marketing courses for about 6 months or so. And then I was ready, but ready for what? I hadn't worked in the industry for, for a long time. So I was thinking I will start posting content, really good content, in order to have a feed, somehow with a few posts and blah, blah. And then maybe I will have paid ads. And then starting to build this thing up in order for it to start working in 1 year or 2. But it went like
fast.
Fast. Yeah. I had my first clients, what should I say? Before I don't know. I didn't have followers. I had less than 100 followers.
But that's the best way to learn is working with clients, actually doing it.
Yes, of course. But when it started, and then clients came and asked for help, and I was doing stuff because I was trained. Okay, and okay.
I think everybody should do that. Like, people don't realize that they already have experience, and they can talk about what they have experience in.
Yeah, that's me.
But what I feel like a lot of people do is, so for example, when I first came on Instagram, I talked about what the experience that I had with working with personal brands, marketing, design, copywriting, things I've done, right? But I've never talked about social media or growing Instagram or anything like that until I actually got to a certain point, right? So all the way in the beginning, I didn't talk about it, right? So what I see people do is kind of like what Brene Brown's doing, right? Talking about things that they actually haven't practiced yet. Meaning, for example, like I actually heard this from this girl, Vanessa Lau, and she just like put it perfectly for me. So she quit her job and she started a YouTube channel, and then she started making YouTube videos, but then she couldn't make money. She didn't have money coming, so she got a job at a coffee shop. And while she was doing that, she was making YouTube videos. And then she got a coaching client, and then little by little, and then she started getting there. But what happened was when she first quit her job and started putting out content, she didn't talk about, oh, this is how you start a coaching business. This is how you make money online.
Yeah, of course.
And this is how. What she did was she made a video about the right way to quit your 9-to-5 job, because she did that, right? And then once she made some videos, she talked about how to start YouTube channel, because she did that, right? So if this is your progress and you're here, then talk about that. And then once you're here, then talk about that. Once you're here, talk about that. Once you're here, like
what
just
I did.
talk. But what I see people do is from day one, they quit their job, they start a YouTube channel, and they're like, this is how you start a business. I'm like, what the fuck have you done? You have not started a business yet. How are you going to teach other people how to start a business? You have not grown your YouTube channel yet. How are you going to teach people how to grow a YouTube channel? Like,
exactly.
Crazy.
There were people asking me in the first 2 months, I'm not sure, can you teach me storytelling? for social media because I was doing it, you know, but I couldn't. I could, but I didn't want to. I mean, I have to work. I was thinking that I have to, you know, work in the market. What shall I teach?
You can teach what you have done up to that point. That's why I think like a lot of people
I can do it
understand.
now. I do it now, but I do it now. But now I have, you know, I have many clients. I teach storytelling for social media, and I have the brand strategy for social media, and I have written copy for a bunch of websites. So I have written for email marketing. So I've tried things. I've lost clients. That happened too. I have a dream client who never answered me. He reads me first and then never answered back. So, and I have friends who are, I mean, if not the best, of the best marketers in Greece. I love them. They know who they are. They will be in the premiere. So, but they found me through the algorithm and through the content. You know what I mean? And we saw that we can communicate and work together and love each other, but it was really early for me. So that's why I felt this, you know, is this happening to me? What have I been doing so many years? What have I been doing? You know? And then it's the other thing that I should have asked maybe in the beginning of our, you know, discussion. I want to do it all. All. I love this website. I love this client. I love this email marketing, and I love Night of Nation. And I'm all in. You know, I want to do it all. And then Sam comes to my mind and says, "Go for the money first. Chase the money first, and then you can do other stuff." But you know, life sometimes doesn't follow the so I'm trying to be, you know, I'm trying to control my discipline and be there and do stuff and don't get overwhelmed, but it's not always easy.